We are thrilled to introduce to you Adranae Mena, a natural-born leader with a trailblazing spirit. As a community leader and entrepreneur, Adranae has crafted her own path, founding a successful coaching business. She is the visionary behind Virginia's first conference for Latina women, the Women Empowerment Exchange. Join us as we delve into Adranae's journey of growth and inspiration. Thank you, Adranae, for being here. We really appreciate you being here, talking with us, talking to the public, and you have a lot of exciting things to share with us. So I just wanted to dive in. I like to ask everybody at the very beginning of the interview, tell us a little bit about your background, what you want to share with us.
Yeah, sure. So I'm originally from New York, and let me just really put it out there because everybody's going to give me a hard time, especially those people that I know. So I am Californian by way, so New Yorker by way of California. So I was born in Hollywood, California.
No way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was born in Hollywood, California, and then we moved. I think I was 10 when we moved to New York, and because military, my dad was out there. So then we came to New York. And so I really call New York home because that's where I was raised.
Exactly.
I feel like I was exposed to, that type of lifestyle of New York. And so I loved it. And then my parents decided to do a change of lifestyle, and they came to Virginia.
Okay.
When I was 17, which was horrible.
Oh my goodness.
You're talking about like my high school time, right?
Yeah, that's a big
horrible.
Yeah. So you didn't get to graduate with your class.
No, I actually graduated from Manchester High School.
And you didn't know anyone. Like you'd start.
And I was the only Latina in the school.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's so. Yeah, you come from knowing all your friends and then having culture around you. And
major culture shock. And I was like, oh my God, like really? They do all Black people here, all white people here. And I was like,
more segregated.
It was very segregated. And I just didn't understand what that was about. So
yeah, because New York is a melting pot. Everybody.
My building alone had probably over 17 to 20 different nationalities. I mean, I had like a Jamaican, Yugoslavian, Irish, just on my floor alone.
Wow, that's crazy.
Chinese, a little bit of everything.
Wow, yeah. So that's definitely narrowing your window down coming here.
Absolutely. Then. Yeah, and then the neighborhood that we were in was sort of an affluent neighborhood, but I had no idea. So of course, when I went to the school, they're like, "Oh, you live in blah blah blah," and I'm just kind of like, "Okay, yeah."
That didn't mean anything to you because you just got here, yeah.
Yeah, so it was pretty interesting. So apparently the kids that grew up in the same neighborhood, like in the neighborhood, just kind of knew each other from elementary school and junior high school.
So they all grew up.
So they grew up together. We had a pool in the neighborhood, tennis courts, 2 or 3 pools. So it was just a lot of like, oh, she comes from New York. She's probably from the city. And I wasn't from the city. I was from the Bronx. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because they thought just,
people, I guess, automatically think Manhattan. The bigger parts.
Yeah,
cities.
bigger parts and like the apartments and all that. And I have lived like that before, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a different, what is it called? Stereotype. People think that.
Very pigeonhole. They keep people stuck in pigeonholes. Yeah.
Big time. Okay. So Richmond, Virginia, why did you guys come here specifically? Because of the military or was...
No, to be like 100% transparent, my dad, I do believe through military, my dad ended up starting to use drugs. And so he went to a program here through a church. Okay. And so that brought us to Virginia. So my mom, my mom literally told my dad, like, if you don't go to a program, then our marriage is over. Wow. And so he loved his family, loved his children. And he came here, made a commitment to a program, a 1-year program. And so we came down here probably right when he was about to graduate from the program.
Okay.
And probably the best thing that ever happened to our lives, realistically, because I don't know what life would look like still staying in New York.
Yeah.
And so, my dad, and people don't realize that Vietnam was very tough on their vets. Very, very tough.
War veterans. So
it was very tough. And a lot of them came back. And of course, back then they didn't really focus on, mental health. And
I'm sure PTSD wasn't anything.
Yeah, none of that was even discussed. That was like a hush hush back in the 70s, especially after he got out the military.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then because he was special forces, that's like a whole
my goodness.
Right?
Yes.
So, so my dad just ended up I guess, pacifying and, kind of covering up with addiction.
Yes.
So, and he chose heroin, unfortunately. And so that kind of had him spiral for like 10 or 15 years. And then my mom's like, nope. So we're going to change our lifestyle. We're going to move. So coming to Virginia was the best thing for us. And then we just acclimated, it was tough. Yeah. And my sister, like, she's like, I'm from Virginia because she was like in junior high school, like literally in sixth grade.
Okay.
You know,
she identifies more, I guess, with here.
She does, but she still says she's in New York.
Does she have an accent?
Stronger than mine.
Really?
Yeah, stronger than mine. Definitely.
Oh, wow.
For sure. So,
but does she remember her time in New York?
She does. Yeah, okay. She does. We lived in a great building and we had a lot of great friends. Yeah, she remembers New York and we go back and forth. We have family there.
Okay.
Yeah, we go back and forth.
Oh, that's good. That helps you keep the memories.
Keep the memories alive. Yeah, and just the culture.
Okay.
Yeah, the culture.
You said the family is still there. You went to visit them.
Okay. In the Bronx or anything. Yeah.
Nice. In the same neighborhood where you grew up?
No.
Okay.
They're like in different areas, but still really decent areas as well.
Oh.
One of the butchers that we go to, they live right there, walking distance.
Oh.
One of the delicatessens and all that. So it's really cool.
That's nice. That's one thing I liked about New York visiting. I personally couldn't live there because it's too busy for me, but I liked how everything was right there. Everything's in walking distance. It's so convenient, but there's a lot of people. So.
There's a lot of people. And it's really interesting now that I've been here to 86 or something like that. Like I'm from Virginia, you know, like I'm going to be 52 this year. And so like to think about like going back to New York, I don't think I could do it. And I did it after college. Like I went back up there and worked for Xerox and stuff. And I lived in Jamaica State near St. John's University. And I stood like kind of like in suburb type area in Queens. Okay. Because I just didn't want to live this city life. It was just like, I got to have a grocery store here. I got to have my hair salon here. And, you know, the delicatessen here. So I lived in Queens.
Okay.
But then when I came back to Virginia, I was like, oh, this is great.
You liked it?
It's slower. It's comfortable. My kids, you know, had great education, Chesterfield County schools, good education.
Yeah, Virginia has a pretty good reputation for schools.
Yeah, they do. So versus like having to go to private school.
Yes.
Right. So,
oh gosh, yeah. I can't imagine the tuition there.
Yeah. Oh Lord. Yeah. Let's not talk about that. I did that for 4 years with my son. So yeah.
No, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Tell us about the career, your path to the career you've chose now. I'm sure it's a series of things that's happened, but can you tell us a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have what I call the JOB that finances the destiny. So I have the job where I'm in public health. So I work for Virginia Department of Health, and it's really interesting how it led me there. So I started off in sales and marketing, working for Xerox. And I guess like my personality, everyone always said like, oh my God, you'd be great at this. And so it went from like sales to then outreach. And I always have a passion for my community. And so then it led me to be the director of Capital Area Health Network of Outreach. So that's where public health kind of started happening.
Okay.
And so, of course, being Latina and being the only Latina in most organizations, they were like, oh, you can build the Latina community, you know? And so, yeah, I mean, a lot of the organizations that I was a part of, I built it like anywhere between like 10 to 15%, you know, like so Con was a clinic. Well, at the time they were Vernon J. Harris on 25th Street. But they're Vernon J. I think it's still Vernon J. Harris, but now they have like 7 locations and they're called Capital Area Health Network. So yeah, I started to do community outreach. I was a community outreach director, and that is what led me to public health. And I just fell in love with public health. I didn't even know that I was going to love public health. So I was really interested in understanding, you know, like social determinants and all that stuff. Just understanding like why. I think it all started with infant mortality, like just really finding out that the Black community had like high infant mortality rates, and then learning about like father focus and not having the father around and the percentage of women that were losing their babies or stillborn, the fathers weren't around. It's like some intense data. And so I became really passionate about that and really understanding what that looked like. And so then that just opened the door to all of public health.
Yeah.
So then epidemiology and then all this other stuff. So I say I'm a public health practitioner.
That's amazing. You know, you have to really get a good education to get your head around a lot of those things that you're interested in.
Yeah,
so that's great.
Yeah, and I'm still really highly interested. I mean, I work really hard at my job, and I'm focusing on I just wrote a curriculum with VCU for the Latino community, some parenting classes. So what we did was we put a survey out there in our community and just to ask like what was the need and what would they like to see to learn about. And so, you know, we had like women's health and exercise and behavioral health and mental health. So we did this whole thing, and I partnered with School of Humanities to do this 8-week program. And this Friday we launch it. Tomorrow we launch it, which is super exciting. 10 families, and and their children, so BC students will be mining the children, and then like the PhD graduates will be, facilitating the curriculum that we put together. Super exciting.
That's amazing. So how did they select the families? They just
so my community health workers, I asked them to select five families, and so I really don't know what criteria they used. I just asked them for 10 families. Okay. So they came up with 10 families, and so they said yes. I'm pretty sure they asked all their families, and only 10 said yes. So, but I'm pretty sure it's going to grow. We're piloting the program just to see what it's going to look like. So I don't know if you're familiar with Hull Street, but the apartment complex that we have, the apartment is an actual clinic. So they gave it to us for free. The apartment company, the owner of Southwood Apartments.
Oh, wow.
Gave it to us for free. It's a 3-bedroom, and we actually have a clinic in there. So I have a nurse practitioner, I have nurses, the community health workers, and then my clerical staff. And so our 3-bedroom apartment is actually a clinic for the community.
That's living there.
We are in the community. We're embedded in the community.
That's great.
So they trust us. They depend on us. We provide them with all types of resources, family planning, all that stuff.
That's important because a lot of people don't have maybe transportation or insurance or anything for that.
Yeah, so we do it for free. We're come over to the health district. Of course, they have insurance and we'll bill Medicaid or whatever the case may be. But 9 times out of 10, they're just like on a sliding scale, and a lot of them are in the the areas where they can't afford medical care.
Okay.
So we provide it for them, and then if we can't do the service, then I refer them out. We outsource them to Bon Secours, VCU programs and things of that sort. But my community health worker will walk hand in hand with them until they get what they need.
That's so important.
It's just really cool. We don't just leave them there. And so when I say that they trust us. And you being Latina, one of the things that our community has is lack of trust, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, having us there and knowing our faces and knowing what we do, they totally trust us. So they continue to come back to us. And then we end up seeing their kids and we're also we partner with the schools, which are Richmond Public Schools as well. So we're kind of involved in everything. Our hands are everywhere.
I think that's really inspirational, especially as a Latina, being in that. If I was in that situation as a Latina, seeing Latinas that are out there helping other people, I think that's such a need out there for inspiration, for really role models, because there's not really a lot of that in our communities and on TV or anywhere that's around with us. So I think that's amazing. So that speaks volumes of what you're doing next. Is about
I was literally thinking, what a great segue, right?
Yeah,
we were talking about being an inspiration to folks. So,
So please tell me about the Women's Empowerment Exchange. I am super excited because I am attending.
Yay! I'm so excited that you're coming. It's really interesting because so being a public speaker and being invited to speak at different events and organizations, I kept looking out in the audience anytime I was a keynote speaker or a panelist. And it's there's no one of my color. There's no, I always say Carmel people. I think there's no Carmel people. There's no Latinos out there. Unless I invited my girlfriends to support me. There was no Latinas.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until this year, so I was a keynote speaker at an organization October of 22. And that was the first time I saw there was a deficit. I was there's a gap.
Yeah.
And it has to be filled.
Absolutely.
Right. So, spent the whole year, come around now. We're in October 23. I had some trials and tribulations happen, but it wasn't until October of 23 where I went again to the same event. It's every year. I went to the same event. I was not a speaker that year. I was an attendee. And I'm looking around, and there's only 2 of us now.
Wow.
Which one of them I invited. I forwarded the thing to her, and she's a director for an amazing program, a domestic violence program here in Virginia, in Chesterfield. And so it was just us 2.
Wow.
And I thought, this can't be. So that's when it hit me. I said, we have never, in the state of Virginia, have never had a women empowerment uplifting, inspire, and highlighting Latinas.
Yeah.
I did my research. I called Chamber of Commerce in Northern Virginia and the DC area. I called Chamber of Commerce here in Chesterfield, Virginia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And there had never been anything. There had been little workshops where we come together and encourage each other. But there was never an actual conference where we're literally highlighting Latina women. And our stories are phenomenal.
Absolutely.
We come from all types of background, right? So tenemos caribeño, you know, just South American. We're from all over.
Yes.
And, you know, we come in all colors. We're beautiful. And I just thought, we're not just housekeepers. We're not just babysitters. We're not, you know, and that's okay. It's beautiful. Like, I love that. We're not just, you know, working in a hotel. And I thought it was really important to highlight the leaders here in Richmond. So one of my guests is Dr. Carla Mossi, who's PhD. She is the mechanical electrical engineering professor at VCU, VCU Engineering School.
Okay.
And then I have Jennifer Escobar, who is like young, college graduate at VCU, owns Kairos tax and payrolling. So she's an accountant.
Awesome.
I know, like she's probably like in her late 20s and has a successful business. So she's an entrepreneur.
Good for her.
The other young lady is Christine Mercado. She is a published author.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, she took her story, and you'll hear more about her story. So she took her story, wrapped it up and made it into like a prompt journal. Because she spent like a year just journaling the grief of what she had went through. So I found it to be beautiful. And then my keynote speaker, I actually am her mentor. We've been friends for a long time. And we just stayed in touch. So we went from like mentor, like me being her mentor, to then being her really, really good friend. And so I've been at her wedding. I was there for the kids being born. She saw a little girl that I was not there for. She was turning a year old, and like breaks my heart. But she is first generation. She's Dominican from Washington Heights, New York. First generation graduate from high school. First generation college. She's got her JD. She's an attorney. And then she went from being a corporate attorney for high-level organizations, Meta, all these Fortune 500 companies, and then became because she was an employment attorney, and then became an employment coach. So she's an entrepreneur now.
Wow.
Yeah. So she'll be coming and talking about her story and wrap it all around some great, you know, encouraging, inspiring things. So my goal for Women Empowerment Exchange was just sort of like the name of the conference that I'm going to highlight. That I'm going to brand. But then there's Mujeres Brillantes, leading with strength and grace. So a little Spanglish, right? That's what we do. And so Mujeres Brillantes obviously is, you know, either brilliant women or bright women, right? It's either or, right? And leading with strength and grace, because women are strong. Like we're
absolutely,
you know, we're in school, we're working. We do a little bit of everything. Homeschooling. I mean, there's a combination of things that we do. We wear so many different hats.
Limitless. I mean, limitless. It keeps going.
Like, it's crazy if we were really to put on a hat for everything that we do, right?
It would be great.
We're housekeepers.
There's a book.
Exactly. So I thought, God, we really need to kind of come together. And it's deeper than just like, okay, let's highlight these stories. It's women of all kind, like hashtag girl power. Like, let's come together and let women from this area understand what we look like and what we sound like and how we do business and how we connect with other women. And then us Latinas, like, hey, let's get out of our silo area. Let's kind of connect with other people, because we get really siloed, right? So why is it that in places in New York and Miami, like they stay in the same area and they don't learn English? Because what? They go to the same grocery store, the same bodega. They talk to the same people, have coffee with the same people, and so they never have to learn English.
Exactly. It's what's comfortable.
It's what's comfortable, right? So my thing is Women Empowerment Exchange. So let's empower each other and let's have this amazing exchange. Yeah. Right? Even right now, sitting here with you, like I'm talking to you, I'm looking at you, and I'm like, God, like you blessed us with this amazing dinner. I see your children. Like it's all the love that you've given them. I'm watching everything. I'm like, and this is an exchange, right? You know, I'm watching a mom just be amazing. And so like, you know, and now that I'm a grandma, I'm like, did I miss out on that time? Like I have to go back and look, like, you know, and I didn't have the option to homeschool back then. So the fact that you're able to do that, like, is so amazing. So yeah, I love that.
We feel very fortunate to being able to do that for them. So we're excited, and we can hope we can share that with others and get the word out that it's possible, because there are even single moms who are homeschooling. Yeah. So they're
working with other moms.
The co-ops. Yeah.
The co-ops. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah. I was the cohorts.
Same thing. No. Yeah. But you as a community, you have to link up with other moms who are doing the same thing. I mean, and not even moms. I mean, there's dads there too out there. So finding that community of people, of like-minded people, and getting that help that you can get, because everybody comes from all walks of life. Someone could be a doctor, someone could be an artist, someone could be a scientist, and they can teach different parts of the curriculum. So there's a lot out there, especially here in Richmond. It's growing.
It's a huge community here in Richmond.
I feel like when I went to school, that hardly existed. The whole homeschool. I didn't know anybody who was homeschooling.
I know. Agreed. I didn't either.
And I think 2020 kind of like boosted that.
Absolutely. Absolutely true.
So that was a big reasoning behind it, because it's just like, everything that's going on in the world, that we just wanted to hold on to that and be able to educate them. But that's not what this is about.
But it is though. Like, right, you have young Latinas that you're grooming, right? And so when I think about homeschooling, I think about like, you're able to cultivate the gifts. Like I didn't have homeschooling. So it was like, go do school the way we want you to do school. Where homeschooling is, we're doing school what works best for the children.
Exactly.
Right? So you find that one of your girls is more artistic, then we're going to do things through art, right? And then if we have one that's, more logical or right brain or left brain, then you're going to do things in that manner. So you're grooming little Latina leaders. Absolutely.
Yeah, I hope to.
So this is part of that conversation. And that's the other thing. So, and I want to share this because it's really huge. So the money that is being made through the tickets, I'm going to give a beca, which is a
grant.
A
scholarship. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. See, like my brain thinks in Spanish, and I'm like, but a scholarship for 5 students to just pursue something out of high school. I don't care if you want to go be a hairdresser, a tattoo artist, whatever you want to do, makeup artist, I really don't care. It could be a trade. Go weld. You know what I'm saying? Go be an electrician, go be a plumber, but apply that money to go do something. And, $500 may not be a lot, but it's a start. And so this is my first conference, and I feel like I'm going to, meet some amazing women, and I eventually want to have a board. And, first I'm going to do a community advisory board. I want to do this with other women that believe in the vision.
That's amazing.
Because I want to show the younger generation that they can do something, and they can see people of their color and of their race, right? And so be like, oh, wow. And so I've invited some students from Meadowbrook High School, Forest, the one off of Forest Hills, Huguenot, and George Wythe. Okay. And so I have some students, I've partnered with communities and schools. So they're going to bring some of the students out. High school students, so 10th, 12th, to see Latinas, to see other Latinas doing things.
I wish I had that in high school. That would have been great.
Right?
That would have been awesome.
And then partnered with VCU. So VCU, Dr. Amnita Nadal is bringing her students to come out as well. She's School of Humanities. So it so happens that the time of my conference is during her class.
Oh, okay.
So she gets to do that.
Okay.
So her college students are coming out to my conference.
Field trip.
That's exactly what they're doing. So I have some that are going to be volunteers, and I have some that are going to be part of. So the Latinas are going to be volunteers, and then the other young ladies, because there's some non-Latinas that are like, should we be there even though we're not Latina?
Like, yes.
Hashtag girl power.
Exactly. We're all women. So
exactly. So
that's great.
So that's really so that's been my passion. And I thought it's really funny because when I first started to think about it, and I'm just going to be like 100% authentic and transparent. It's like I had this thing drop in my spirit, and I was like, yeah, God, okay, sure, but somebody's going to do it. Somebody else is going to do it. Mm-hmm. Right? And God's like, no, you're going to do it. And I'm like, no, I'm going to take my workbench and I'll put it next to somebody else's workbench and we'll do it together. Yeah. God's like, no, it's you. And I'm thinking like, what?
Are you sure?
So, are you sure? And so all I heard was, if you would just say yes to me and walk through the door, I'll do everything else for you. And I will tell you that a lot of people look for sponsors. I only asked 2 people for sponsors, and I'm up to 19 sponsors. And I have sponsors that are calling me as of yesterday, can I get on your flyer? Can I get on your website?
Wow.
And I mean, even recently having Atlantic Union Bank, that was like a 24-hour turnaround time. Literally, the woman called me and said, hey, I got some, diverse equity, inclusion money. How much are your sponsors? And I'm like, let me get my assistant to send you a sponsorship package. And it was already approved. All they had to do was run this stuff.
Right.
Anthem, Aetna, the
big names. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had Telemundo call me. So
wow.
I haven't reached out to anyone but 2 companies.
That's crazy. But word travels fast though when something good is happening. So.
Absolutely. So I've been fortunate. So that goes back to that. If you would just say yes, I'll do it. Right. I'll do my part. You do your part. And so when you collaborate with God and be obedient, I guess that would be the word, right? And just kind of walk in the steps that you're supposed to.
Yeah.
So, I really am what I believe. So I wrote a curriculum for my coaching business called Pursue Your Passion, and it'll provide provision. Mm-hmm. So P to the 3rd power. And I believe that's what's happening. I'm finally walking into what I believe is my destiny.
Absolutely. I love that, because I feel like so many people in life say, what do I do? What was my purpose? What am I doing? But to have that message already channeled to you, and you know that God's got your back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a freeing feeling.
It is. And I have like support and people that love me, that have encouraged me and walked hand in hand with me. And then I got people that are like, oh my God, you're crazy. You know, they're just like, oh. So yeah. And the coaching business was birthed out of, I mean, it's really funny. So are you familiar with like network marketing companies?
Not necessarily.
So like Amway and like, what's another one? Mary Kay, like those type of businesses. See, people think they're pyramids, but I won't talk about that. That's like a whole nother, we'll do an interview about that.
Okay.
Actually, it's really a great way to make an income. However, it's exhausting, right?
Okay.
But it's a great way to make income. But the best thing about organizations like multi-level and direct marketing is that it has the best personal development. Best personal development, because if you can't lead yourself, then you can't lead Emmy.
Makes sense.
Right. And so that was sort of like my foot in the door where I was like 18 and I was a military spouse, and it was like what I had an opportunity to do that. And so much personal development, learning about myself, learning about my strengths and what I can do and how I can do. Then you got the education piece that brought in like all the other stuff that you needed. But you don't have like entrepreneurship in college. Now they do, but not when I was in school.
Yeah.
Now they have that in real estate. I'm like, wow, VCU has like a whole real estate.
Yeah. I don't think that was there when I was there.
Yeah, it's there now because I'm part of that organization.
Yeah.
And so I did really well in network marketing. And so women started to so I was like one of the top leaders within like a different organization in 2011. And I was one of the leaders, like talking to the women in our organization on like a Zoom call and just like encouraging them. And so I had ranked up really quickly and made a big bonus check. And so all these women would side chat me like, how did you do it? How did you do it? How did you do it? And I'm like, oh, consistency, do the same thing, just consistency, just like income generating activities. That's what I learned, IGAs, right? Do an income generating activity. And so income generating activities for that type of business was making phone calls and putting people through the system.
Oh,
right?
Gotcha.
So,
and that's hard for some people to pick up the phone and call.
Correct. Yeah. The monkey or the whatever, it was 10-pound, whatever. And so my sponsor was like, because these women were like, I need you to coach me. I need you to coach me. And I'm thinking like, coach you? What do you mean coach you? Like, I could just tell you what I do, but you got to do it yourself, right?
Yes.
And so my sponsor was like, that you can make money doing this outside of the network marketing company. And I thought, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, people are asking you to teach them what you do. And if you just sit down and kind of write what your daily method of operation is, like, what do you do from the time you get up? What stuff do you put in place because, for success?
Yeah.
And so I put my DMO together, like from the time I woke up, meditation, gratitude statements, writing my journal, devotional, and then silence, right? And then I would hit my business. Then I was ready to go, right? But I had a list of people I was going to call, and I put them in a spreadsheet because we didn't have like an amazing back office where you can like contact. It was just, I did an old school spreadsheet. And so then S.O.A.R Fearlessly was birthed, and it's surpass, overcome all roadblocks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, and fearlessly, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so that's where it was born.
Yeah, that's where it was born in 2011.
Okay.
And fearlessly, because I believe that we're all afraid to do something, right? So, but if you don't do it, then we're always going to be afraid to do it. So like, what's that saying? There's a quote, do it afraid, right? And so the way I feel like you could get to the other side of the fire, despite if a fire's there and you can't walk through it, there's no other way to go. You have to go
jump through it. Yeah.
You jump through it, right? And then once you get to the other side, you got a little bit of soot, your booty's burned a little bit, but then you get to the other side, little eyelashes burned, little burnt hair smelling and then you're on the other side and then you're cooling off, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, holy cow, I just did this.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what it's about. And then the logo is new, actually. I had a little, I wish I had the old logo because that would have been great to kind of talk about the transition. So it was a little paper airplane.
Oh, okay.
It was like S.O.A.R, and then in the word fearlessly is a little paper airplane. Okay. And that's what I had for a very long time. And after this year, between the loss of my ex-husband and grieving with my kids and doing all that stuff. He was my friend, like really my friend. He wasn't just my ex-husband, he was my friend. And it was really tough. And so I kept seeing the Phoenix and seeing the Phoenix and seeing the Phoenix in quiet times and just seeing the Phoenix. And I was like, yeah, she's rising up. So, and and I believe that women and men could soar at any level, right? So soaring doesn't mean that we're all the way up here, because it could be that I'm doing really good today, and this is as far as I can soar today.
Exactly.
And that's as far as I can go. But you know what? We need to celebrate that.
Yes, exactly.
We have this expectation that we have to be like amazing all the time.
It's hard. We're very hard on ourselves. Extremely. Sometimes I do like 1,000 things, but then I feel like I've done nothing.
You've done nothing. And you'll say that. Like, you look in the mirror and be like, what did I do today? But if you take your time to like check off the stuff that you did, you're like, holy cow.
Yes.
Like, that was amazing today. And that's one of those things where, like, it's hard to do. Look in the mirror and say, you're amazing.
It is hard.
Adranae.
It is hard.
You start looking away. You can't even look at yourself.
Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. So
we don't pat ourselves on the back enough.
I'm really big on attaboys. And so talking about the conference, I'll be speaking about like what I call the red light story and the green light story, and then celebrating the wins. So I say you could start at any level, like I mentioned. That's sort of my tagline.
Thanks.
And I'm super excited about that. I'll be speaking at the event, very short, because I really want to introduce my keynote as well as my panelists.
I'm very excited to hear everything. And then I like how you made the connection with your previous job, and you were a natural born coach. So it made sense for you to start your own coaching business. I've been telling Victor, I need a coach. So sign me up, coach. I need to get a coach, because I mean, there's, especially starting a business, homeschooling, everything just feels really hard sometimes. And it's nice to have someone who's not your friend. I mean, yes, you're my friend, but someone who's like,
well, because they're going to keep you accountable, and they're going to be candid, right? So there's not going to be no BS.
Exactly.
And you don't want friends to coach you, because then they get skewed.
They try to be your friend versus to give you honest.
Yeah, give you candid, honest opinion.
So it's I think everybody needs a coach, and
I think so too. I mean, let's talk about sports, right? So and I love to golf. So like the best golfers have coaches, right? And the freaking golfers make more money than the coaches.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's true.
But they have coaches.
Yeah.
And without a coach, they don't have direction.
Yeah.
So that's huge. I think it's really important for people to have coaches.
Absolutely.
I think coaches.
Yeah.
My coach is phenomenal. I still have a coach.
Yes. And I think coaching and mentorship is the same thing for the most part. Having somebody from the outside kind of just tell you how it is.
Absolutely. And then I was able to like sort of distinguish the difference as well, because I started off as a life coach and realized that I was like, I'm not a counselor. You counsel.
Yeah, there's a difference. Yes,
you need to go to counseling. So those are childhood traumas.
Yes.
Your ACEs are like AIDS. No, like before you like totally sign my contract, I need to go to counseling.
Exactly.
Right, or do counseling me at the same time, but don't depend on me for everything.
Yeah, we're not therapists. You're not therapists.
Yeah. So, and I found myself in the beginning, because I was so passionate about it. Again, in the beginning, it was about the specifics of becoming successful in network marketing. So it was wrapped around network marketing. But then they had to work on themselves to be able to do the things that successful people do.
Makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So you need to, establish routines and habits and make better choices, whether it's food, whether it's exercising, whether it's how you speak to yourself, that's huge too.
Absolutely.
And so, I have grandchildren, and like, I'll look at my grandchildren and my little bonus daughter, I'll say, I'm beautiful today. Yes. I'm smart today.
Affirmation.
Yeah. I'm strong today, So it's so hard. People are uncomfortable to say that.
I'm very selective with the words that I use around my children, because they pick up on that
every time.
And I try not to use the F word. Well, not that F word, the fat word and ugly word. I just hate using those words, because they start to think that of themselves. And
use the other F word.
I kind of use that too sometimes. It's his fault though.
Goodness. Not that F word. No, but sorry.
No, I get it. I mean, it's really important to definitely speak life into our children and into ourselves. We can speak life into our children. And as a mom, I can relate. We tend to speak life into our husbands, into our children.
Yes.
And we forget to speak life into ourselves.
Absolutely. We're last on our list.
We're last on the list. And really, we should be first on the list, because realistically, like, I can't pour from here. On you. I have to give the outside to everybody. But I'm trying to give people from here and look at what's left. I can't.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then this sucks up with everything that we're doing, with our family, our friends, our business, our school, blah, 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 whatever.
Yes.
And really, we're not supposed to give from there. We're supposed to give from the overflow.
Absolutely.
But we never.
No one ever looks at it like that way. I never thought of it that way. But yeah. That's a nice analogy. I get to think of it that way now.
Yeah, so I love to run. So like when I do coaching, like I'll run water. Well, when I was doing like face-to-face coaching, now of course everything's 2020 made everything online. But I'd like to take. We should like to take a glass of water and run it under the thing. And so I'd be like, okay, I'd stop it. I'm like, okay, this is where we're at. And I used to do some group coaching in New York, some cohorts, which were fun with a lot of women. Like 10 women is where I max out. And I put the water, I'd put the cup underneath the spout and pour, and then halfway through I'd stop it and I'm like, okay, this is where we're working with. Like, how much can we do with this, right? And they'd be like, oh no, God, that's gonna be gone by the time I go to work, come back from the train, feed my children, feed my husband, that's gonna be gone. And I'm like, oh, okay, so what you doing for you? Like, what's happening? They're like, now I'm so dry, I can't do it no more. I'm done. I'm ready to take a shower and go to bed. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, so you took no time for you. So then I would run the water again and I'd let it like run over. And I'm like, so what does it look like if you're giving your family this that's rolling over and all of that inside is for you?
I love it.
And then all of a sudden people, and like, I just got the goosebumps, but then all of a sudden women are like, yo, like I'm always giving from all of that.
Yes.
And then it's nothing there. By the time that the night ends, like I got nothing.
Yes. Completely depleted.
And so I may wake up a little nasty and cranky.
Yes. Then they wonder why we go crazy. I'm just kidding. We're going to go crazy.
We go crazy. I'm sorry. We're going to have to cranky. We do go a little crazy.
Sometimes, yeah. No, but yeah. I always tell my husband, I used to be nice. I used to have patience. I used to be nice, but
so patience is like the wicked.
Yeah. Some days, yeah. Okay, so you told us about S.O.A.R. After the conference, do you have any other big events that are on the horizon?
So it's really interesting because Charlottesville is asking me to bring the conference.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
I know, but I don't know. It took a lot for this. And so, but I'm going to do this every year in March because it's, Women's International Month, or the 8th is the day. And then September is Hispanic Heritage Month. So I do feel like I want to do, but like I have to really fill my cup.
There you go. Exactly.
I have the capacity of the bandwidth to do it. So
yes.
I do have like a venue that's going to sponsor it. And I do have Virginia. Oh God, I'm about to give you a whole nother name. University of Virginia is interested in sponsoring. So I'm just going to kind of play it by ear. However, my what's next after the conference is to do some workshops.
Excellent.
Yeah, just to kind of gather some women together and really dive deeper on the red light story, green light story, what we're telling ourselves, and really working on celebrating the wins, because we really don't. We go, we did this, yay, we did this, yay, we did this, yay. And like, we don't celebrate the wins. And we're like, what's next?
Yes.
And I'm one of those people. So this is going to keep me accountable to work with women. And I always say, like, just because I'm a coach doesn't mean that, like, sometimes you could lead me. You know what I'm saying? There's so many giftings in so many women. That's why it goes back to Women Empowerment Exchange.
Yes, I like that.
Like, I know that there's stuff in you that I can glean from, right?
I agree. We all have different walks of life, all different stories. And I think that's great that that's the focus of this, because we do come from different backgrounds, different stories. People have come stories with immigration, like immigrating here.
Yeah.
They're first generation immigrants, like myself. So everybody has a story. And I think that that's great that we're able to share that and learn from people, because there's so many stories. There's so much to share. There's not enough time for sure. Correct. And I'm sure in one day, but we make that connection.
And my hope is that women will connect outside of that, and that they'll cultivate relationships, and they'll say, man, I met her at the Women Empowerment, Mujeres Brillantes, leading with strength. That's when I met her. And like, now we partnered, and now we opened up a nonprofit again. I don't know, whatever's going to happen from it. I would love to kind of be a part of it.
That's exciting.
Just to see, and not necessarily do business, but I would love to be able to see that and say, like, okay, because I made the decision to bring all these women together, and people have cultivated relationship and something has happened. That's amazing. I did speak to like a gentleman that has a radio station. And he was like, when you get the students that get the beca, like, I want them to come back and interview with me. I want to ask them how they felt. Yeah. What are they going to do with it? And like, what's going to be their give back? Because part of the expectation is to do a give back for S.O.A.R fearlessly.
Okay. That's great though. It's nice to hear, because you always see the stories and you never hear the after stories.
That's what I want. Yeah.
And that's very important to know, like, the follow up to see what happened.
Absolutely.
That's great. I'm glad that they're going to go on the show.
Yeah,
it's good.
I'm excited about that as well.
I'm excited too. So in honor of Women's Day, oh, it's just March 8th, but it's okay. It's okay. We're
still in March, baby.
Yeah, exactly. We're still part of it.
Friday.
Yes. Who inspires you the most? What woman inspires you the most in your life, or has inspired you?
Yeah, I'd say my mom and my grandma. Like, really, I mean, I think that's probably like everybody's probably going to say that, but realistically, my mom is one of the strongest women I've ever known. Like, being a military wife and, having a husband that had PTSD and sort of raising us alone because,
yes, they're gone a lot when you're military.
They're gone a lot.
And when they're here, they're out processing all this stuff that they've gone through.
Yeah. So, she's a phenomenal woman. She took great care of us and made sure we had the best of the best. Like, we had the best of the best. My mother would have sacrificed whatever to make sure that we lived in great places. She was never gonna yes, you sacrifice and maybe you get into a 1-bedroom but the 1-bedroom was gonna be in the best neighborhood in the Bronx.
That's
what it was. So same when we came to Virginia. She knew where she wanted to go to and she was going to do whatever it took. So sometimes she would have her day job and then take nighttime positions to do work processing back in the days and shorthand and all that stuff, just to have the extra money to send us to private school and to have dance class and to have all these extracurricular summer camps to go away. Like,
yes, you want to give your kids everything.
You do. And my mom gave it to us.
That's great.
So, I love her. She's phenomenal, strong woman. And we fight. But I still love her and she's amazing. And then my grandma's been passed, but my grandma, I call it, was a quiet storm. So she was married to my grandpa for 67 years before he passed away.
That's a long time. Goodness.
It's a long time.
Medal of Honor.
That's your whole life. Exactly. Medal of Honor for sure. And she was a quiet storm. A little smart woman. She was a nurse.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
It takes a very strong person to be a nurse.
Yeah, she's an RN. She was an RN. And she just always had the right things to say to me. I was going to say I was her favorite.
That's not, we'll cut that.
She just always had the right things to say to me. So there's 5 of us and there's 1 boy. So I would say the oldest and then the boy, kind of like her favorite. But you can leave it there.
Okay, I want you to know.
Yeah, she's not here. But and the girls will say that. Like all my cousins will be like, or my sister, oh yeah, Adranae was grandma's favorite and Aaron, right? Because the only boy. And she just really encouraged us. Like, it's really interesting because when you think about somebody that age or, coming from that time frame, like in the 20s and stuff, like they didn't know about like affirmations and, mindfulness and all that. And
mental health or anything.
Mental health, right? That wasn't even discussed. I was like, no. But my grandmother always used to tell us the good in us. Wow. She never told us what we didn't do right. But she always told us like, tú eres bella y tú lo puedes hacer. Y, like, oh, well, grandma, I can't even dance that salsa like my sister. I mean, I dance really good salsa, but like my sister's un trombone. Like my sister, she looks like she's
like a ballroom dancer.
Yeah, I mean, she's amazing. My sister's amazing, like my mom and stuff. So then my cousin could sing and all this other stuff. And my grandmother was like, well, you speak really well.
Oh,
like, because I used to get on the fireplace. It was made out of stone. I used to get on the fireplace and put all my dolls at the bottom and I would talk to them. I don't know what I was telling them.
You were practicing for now.
I was practicing to be a public speaker.
Yes, that's awesome because that's like a big fear. What is it? The number 1 fear is public speaking. So
yeah, so I just naturally did it. I used to get in trouble.
See, people envy that.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I'd say my mom, Frances, and my grandma, Montserrat, they were just amazing women in my life.
I love that. And I love that you said that she says they're saw the good in everything.
She saw the good in everything.
I love that.
She didn't. Like if we were bad, she would bring it back around and be like,
we're bringing in something positive.
Yeah, my grandfather's name is Salvador, and there was a season where they raised us because my uncle and my mom were finishing college. And so we lived with them for like 3 years. And then, our parents would come up for the weekend and stuff like that. And so I remember I was being bad and my cousin Aaron was being bad. And my grandma's like, no, esos son nenes buenos. Son nenes buenos. She like, again, she just never saw the bad in it. And she felt like if you just cultivated the amazing things in us, we would never like veer off to do crazy stuff. And literally we're all very successful. My My cousin Aaron is a physician, cancer doctor.
Nice.
My cousin is a nurse practitioner.
Wow.
My sister is a marketing director at Anthem.
Wow.
And myself, and then my cousin, the last one, the baby, Alexis, is she's PhD'd and she lives in Canada with her wife. So
that's amazing. So you have a line full of successful people in the family.
I call it like generational blessings. Like, so, sometimes it's generational curses, and every family has that, but you have to find the line of the generational blessings so that can continue. Right. And so that's what, we're teaching our kids. So now my niece, who's 21, she graduates from Bridge Point, because I think they changed the name of the school, was with her associates, but she's in VCU right now. Nice. So like people are just doing the next steps. My son did 10 years in the military. So he did what was best for him, right? It was an education, but he got his education through the military. It's
a great start.
Right. Great start. Yeah. So he did get his education, but not out of high school. You don't want to do that.
Yes.
No. You have to go the hard routes.
Yes. I mean, some people need, a different experience because I really, not a lot of people leaving high school are ready for college. Yeah. So military, I think it's a great venue to go through if that's what you want to do. For sure. Because you have a plan. You're not going to sit at home and do nothing. You have a plan to do something. Exactly. It's like, no, you're not going to sit on my couch.
Right. And so it's really funny because my 21-year-old went to college. She was doing some art stuff and she's like, Mom, please don't coach me. Like, I'm just not ready. And she's a dancer. She's a creative, right? So I'm like, I'm going to let her do her creative thing. And I know deep in my heart that she's going to come back around and be like, okay, I need to finish my school. And so right now I've just given her the space, and especially because their dad died. Like, I can't really put a lot of pressure on them right now. Yeah. When she worked her tail off, she got the new job, and then literally her dad died 2 weeks later. And she toughed out that job and kept going. So, I'm like, it's grace season. It's a season where my children need grace. Yeah. So if they need a veg for a year, then they veg for a year. They're my children.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just to be there for them because everyone's grieving in their own way.
Right. And grieving is, obviously not linear. So.
No, it's not.
And it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
When you least expect it, or it'll come out in laughter, it'll come out in cries, it'll come out in anger.
Yeah.
So just, being able to sit in that, I call it, feeling, dealing, and healing.
Well, yeah, no, I think everybody goes through that. I mean, they're going to have to at one point in their life, but it's hard with, especially a dad, father figure, a husband. I mean, that's tough too.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, he was a phenomenal father. Wow. Yeah, they chose him over me.
Yeah.
I was telling James that earlier today. I was like, do you know that every time my kids were sick, they would go on the other side of the bed, Daddy? And I'd wake up they wouldn't be in the room, and I'm like, what's the matter? And they're sick, Adranae, and I'm like, why did they come to Mama? They never came to Mama. Never came to Mama.
They were daddy.
They always went to Daddy.
They were daddy.
All of them went to Dada.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so.
I'm the opposite here in my house. They all come to me, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. So I wanted to shift gears a little bit. Yeah. I wanted to talk about something not fun, because all of this is fun, but what do you do for outside? How do you relax outside of work? Do you find time to relax? Do you like hobbies? Is there a sport that you like? But you mentioned golf.
Yeah, well, I haven't played because I don't have golf clubs right now. That's a long story. But, it's really interesting. So slowing down has not been easy for me. I think that part of mine is, okay, we're talking about fun, but at the same time, you want to be authentic and transparent. And so I think that I've been such a big girl for so long that I've always done things to be busy.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't be idle.
Yeah. It was very hard for me to be idle. So, but I'm choosing to slow down a lot more. And, Sundays after church, I just kind of do nothing. And that's very new for me. Mm-hmm. However, growing up, I love playing softball. I was an amazing softball player.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole cool pitch thing.
Well, I wasn't a pitcher. I was shortstop and second base.
Okay.
Those two. Yeah. So love that. I'm an avid reader, though. I'm a whole nerd. I love to read. I could literally knock out probably 5 books in a month.
That's great. Yeah, I wish I could do that, because I'm so slow when I read. I'm like,
then. So I have the book because I still have to touch it, feel it, and mark it. But we have Audible now.
Yes. So
there's no excuse. No, it's if you put the Audible on and read with it, it's so much easier nowadays, right?
That's true.
And then I get in my car, I call it Jar Time University, and I just throw on a podcast.
Oh, I love that.
On Audible or something like that, right? So
there's some
I love it. Yeah, for sure. I'm kind of again, corny. I stay in personal development. Yeah, I love to grow and learn. I love learning. I just love to learn more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
I always say I never want to be the smartest person in the room. Never.
No,
Never.
We always learn. Always learn. There's never. I mean, it's like, well, I wouldn't say it's like the internet, but it's like a drop of water in the sea. I mean, you have so much to absorb and learn. So
brain holds so much capacity, and we don't even realize how much it hurts.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we never. And to think that you've made it to the point. Okay, I know it all. I mean, that would be silly. Absolutely silly. We never stop.
Yeah, you have to be coachable and teachable all the time for the rest of your life.
Yes.
I don't care how old I am.
Yeah.
I need somebody teaching something, So.
Yes.
Yeah. So the funds is, I don't really like to watch a lot of TV. My dad kind of said something to us at a young age, and that kind of stood with me. It could be a limiting belief, but he said it was the income reducer. And so,
amen. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
So very driven. Look at, thank you. Like the heads are shaking. Yes, that makes me feel amazing. So, I don't do TV. I don't really like to do TV, especially when people binge on shows. I mean, I binged on a show last month, but I didn't even finish it. That's because I went to my mother's house in Pennsylvania, and she got me into this K drama.
Oh, yeah.
Really cool, right?
Or the Korean dramas.
Korean dramas.
Yes.
And I watched one. I didn't even finish it. But I mean, I kind of went at 6 in the season. There's 15. So I did to 6, and then I was like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
So he said it was an income reducer. And so for my mind, it's that's going to pull so much away from me. And then realistically, you watch TV, you become so idle. Your brain doesn't work.
Yes.
I've read so much. My uncle had Alzheimer's, and mind you, he was so smart. But as he got older and when he retired, he just became, what do you call, a couch potato?
Really?
Mm-hmm. And mind you, he had a master's, and he was director of social services in Sherman Oaks, California. And he just vegged on the sofa the last years of his life. And next thing you know, Parkinson's is a neurological disease, not, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of that comes from the lack of, stimulation in the brain.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm no, I'm going to remember as much as I can. And, of course I have some things that are hard because of trauma experiences, but I mean, my goal is to keep my brain young as much as possible.
Yeah.
The right foods, the exercise, and shut off.
Keeping it challenged all the time. That's great. I'm glad that stuck with you. And that's such an important message because, I mean, yes, we need every now and then to have some leisure time to kind of just unplug. I know sometimes I'm just I don't want to think at all.
And it's cool to do that sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. But then sometimes you, people just stay in it for way too long.
No.
Hours and hours.
Yes.
I don't know how people do it.
No. I think the last show that I actually sat down and watched was Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
I would say.
I watch that too.
Yeah, but
that's a nerd show, though.
Yeah.
That's a little different, right?
Yes. No, it was. Every time the cellos came on, I would always my skin would start to crawl. I'm like, who's gonna die today? But it was what is it called? A guilty pleasure, I guess.
Guilty. That's what I call it.
Mm-hmm.
My guilty pleasure.
Mm-hmm. It's like junk food. See, it's like everything in moderation.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
If I'm a sponsor out there, because I know you were talking about sponsorship, how can somebody reach you? Is there a website?
There's a website, which is the www.soarfearlessly.com. My information is in there. It has where you can capture information. It'll get to my assistant.
Okay. We'll have that linked on the bottom in the description. So
awesome.
we'll have there.
And then we have a sponsorship package, and we have an agreement for the sponsorship and to the TZ.
Okay. Now it's important to have everyone see the packages.
Absolutely.
There's so much that people can choose from. So it's good. Mm-hmm. That's good. And then to sign up for the conference, how do you sign up?
Yeah. So if you go to my website also, the first thing that pops up on the website is a flyer. Mm-hmm. And then on the flyer at the bottom is the Eventbrite on there.
Okay. And then I saw on the flyer, there's no tickets at the door.
Right. Chesterfield County will find me, and I don't want to get in trouble.
No, we don't want that.
Buy tickets at the door. Okay. Not only that, I mean, it makes for a little, I can have name tags for everybody. People don't have to put their names on, draw it in or
more personal.
Yeah, more personal and a little bit more caché.
yeah, absolutely.
Right? And then I have to count because I'm also providing a continental breakfast. So I'm having a graze board and parfait and granola for the morning, and then box lunches. So if I don't get you and account for you, then I can't have a lunch for you.
Exactly. Right? You have to go get your own lunch.
You might be hungry.
No, we don't want that to happen. Right. Yeah, we'll show the sign.
Right, exactly.
Awesome. No, it's good. Okay, so get your tickets not at the door, get them early. So are there special promotions or anything going on before the event?
So actually next week from Monday the 18th through Friday the 22nd, I can offer the word S.O.A.R as a code, and the ticket will go down, I believe, half off, I think.
Excellent.
Yeah. Nice. So people are interested. Again, I'm providing continental breakfast, like a graze board, and as well as lunch. So that's the importance of making sure they buy a ticket.
Absolutely. There's no excuse.
None.
Clear your schedule.
It's actually, I think kids are off that Friday from school. In 29.
Which holiday is it?
Of Easter.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Spring break.
Spring break.
Absolutely. So definitely no excuse. We don't want to hear an excuse. That's exciting. Is there a limit? Is there like a limited amount of tickets?
So there is. I'm capping out at 75. I'm very, very close. But I have room for 150 people.
Okay.
Right. And so I'll make room for 150 people. But it's my first event. I really it's my first event. So let's see what happens.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Definitely excited too.
I've seen people advertise conferences, but they're in Texas or California. Like, wait, I'm not going out there. Right. So I am so excited that this is happening here in our backyard.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. And it's actually happening in Chesterfield County in an area where the demographics have been growing tremendously in the Latino community.
Yes.
So it's off of Bueller Road. It's at the Bueller Recreational Center, which they did a beautiful job. They opened up last year in July. It's spanking new.
Oh, nice.
And
we're breaking it in.
We're breaking it in. It's gorgeous. The place is absolutely beautiful. And I have some amazing sponsors that are doing great things. If you want to see who my sponsors and my partners are, the website will let you know that. I have some people that are just like pouring into the conference that are Latina-owned companies.
Wow.
A balloon company, the food. Nice. Everybody's just,
That's so important.
Amazing. They just want to be a part of this historical event here in Virginia.
Yes. And I already have my outfit in mind of what I'm going to wear.
Yes. I love it. I have my outfit too.
Nice.
It's really just, I don't have pink on today because I usually wear some sort of like magenta pink. That's like my brand color. No, that's one of my favorite colors that makes me happy.
You kind of have a little bit of it in your hair, like naturally, like a little bit.
It's really funny that my girl did it today. She literally added like this pinkish red.
I like it.
Go too pink. I'm not. Yeah. I'm conservative, so. But yeah, she had.
No, it's nice. I like it. It's like a strawberry blonde.
Yeah,
little.
Totally.
Love it.
She kind of she calls those low lights again. I don't know the language.
Yeah, I know. Just make me pretty.
Yeah, just trust her. Yeah, I'm 20 years with her, and I go to Petersburg for her.
Really? That's nice. See, every time I fall in love with a hairstylist, they leave me. So
yeah, she's been here. So
we get to refer.
Yes, I will, and she's amazing.
Yeah, Petersburg is like what, 30 minutes?
There's nothing.
Even?
So being from New York and going back and forth from Jersey and over the GWB, when people tell me oh, you live south of the James River?
Oh my God. Yeah, exactly.
So?
Yeah.
Drive. It's not like you're taking public transportation.
Exactly. And people complain about traffic. I'm like, you have no idea. I'm sure your traffic's way worse. Northern Virginia.
Virginia, I know. The inner loop and the outer loop.
Yes. Exactly.
I know it well. 395.
Yeah, I can't believe I learned how to drive there. So yeah. But I would never drive in New York. That's one place I refuse.
Yeah, but you probably could drive. If you drove in Northern Virginia, you could drive in New York. Trust me.
No. I would have a panic attack, I think.
Especially in the city.
What message do you have for someone that, let's say, we talk a lot here about businesses and stuff. Someone who has a goal or somebody wants to start a business or maybe take classes for something. So how can you reach them, and what words of advice can you give them to inspire them? Because this is what pretty much this channel is about. We want to uplift and inspire the community, inspire young people or all walks of life. And I mean, not necessarily just young people, but anyone who has something in the back of their mind and is afraid to take those first steps. How would you encourage them if you could talk to them face to face?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd say that if you have a vision or there's something that you're passionate about, or maybe you just don't even know what you're passionate about, the first thing is sit down with somebody that you trust and just dump. Let somebody that you trust sit with them. And I always call it a brain dump, where you take everything that's going on in your head and you just write it down. So if you can't do it alone, then do it with somebody, have somebody else write while you're talking.
Yeah.
And what happens is when you're done doing that, you've taken everything that's been sitting in your head that's caused either anxiety, stress, or, oh my God, I'm excited here, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what to start. And what you'll notice is there'll be a pattern in everything that you brain dumped. And then you can actually circle some of the things that were consistent. And then once you figure that out, if let's just say it's in coaching, right? And you realize that, you're you love to be around people. You love to teach people. People come to you and talk to you about everything. So you end up being like the counselor in the group of your friends, right? So you may supposed to be a counselor or a coach or something like that. And what'll happen is that you'll start seeing and being more comfortable with things, and it'll resonate in your heart. And then start reaching out to people, because I always say that the mentor shows up when the student is ready.
Yes.
And so, I believe if you have something and you're passionate about it, definitely pursue it and get around people that are doing it. That's really the best thing. Get around people that are doing it, even if you don't know how to do it, because I sure didn't know how to do it. My mentor actually walked me through how to do it, And so then finally and then I allowed myself to be myself. So that's the other thing. Just be you. Don't be anyone else. And that's a whole nother topic of conversation.
Yes.
Coming to a state where it was either black or white, I kind of lost my identity for a short period of time in college. But then I was like, wait a minute, I'm Latina. So
exactly. Yeah. But I can't forget.
Yeah. So be yourself. That's the most important thing. Be yourself. Connect with people that are doing the same thing that you're doing. Bring them at all, and you'll kind of start walking in the direction that you want to walk in.
That'll create the path, the starting point. So Absolutely. That's important, because sometimes it's hard to find that starting line or that start button.
Yeah.
So
and stop talking about it. Yeah, because talking about it doesn't happen, right? Like you could talk about it, but it's not until you sort of write something on paper, be accountable with it, and have an accountability partner. Like that friend that you're going to sit and brain dump with may be the person that's going to tell you the next thing. And get out there. Just don't be afraid to once you have it written down on paper, don't be afraid to talk about it.
Exactly. I love it. So thank you for those encouraging words, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me. This is
very inspirational. Like the whole story. I like to share the whole story, because it makes like one big, beautiful picture for everyone. So thank you. Thank you for your time and sharing with us. And thank you for the conference, for putting it together. I'm so excited.
I just wanted to bless every woman that comes out.